Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm so glad you're here with us today. In just a moment, you'll experience a story that's filled with heartwarming moments and unforgettable twists. But before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We love connecting with people all around the world. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an incredible story. We've got something even more special coming your way tomorrow, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. He fed a starving boy once, but what happened years later will leave you speechless. David, a 75-year-old retired mechanic, lived a quiet life in the heart of New York City. Each evening, he would walk down to his favorite diner, order a hot cup of coffee, and watch the world go by from his usual seat by the window. He was a man of simple habits, never expecting much more than the comfort of his routine. But one evening, everything changed in a way he never could have anticipated. As the winter wind howled outside, David finished his meal and prepared to leave. That's when he noticed a young boy standing just outside the diner. The boy couldn't have been older than 9, and his clothes were torn and barely warm enough for the freezing temperatures. He was shivering, his face pale, and his small hands were balled into fists as he tried to warm himself against the biting wind. David's heart ached as he watched the boy, standing there, eyes fixed on the warm light inside the diner, but not daring to come in. Without a second thought, David called the waiter over. "Bring that boy a hot meal and a cup of tea. Put it on my bill," he said. The waiter nodded and headed out to get the boy. The boy hesitated for a moment, eyes wide with surprise and confusion, before stepping inside. His eyes met David's, and for a brief moment there was a silent exchange between them, gratitude, yet too shy to fully express it. "I don't know how to thank you, sir," the boy whispered, voice trembling from both the cold and the emotions he was feeling. David smiled warmly, gently replying, "Eat up, son. No one should go to bed hungry." The boy nodded and sat down to eat, savoring each bite as if it were the first food he had in days. After finishing, he wiped his mouth, stood up, and whispered, "I won't forget this," before disappearing back into the cold night. For David, it was just another small act of kindness, something he didn't think twice about. He never expected anything in return. Yet, little did he know that one simple gesture would change both their lives in a way neither of them could ever imagine. Years passed, and life went on for David. He grew older, his joints ached more, and his steps slowed, but his routine remained unchanged. He still walked to the diner every evening, ordered his usual, and watched the world pass by. Yet, no matter how many days came and went, the memory of that cold night, the boy with the tear-filled eyes, never left him. David would often wonder what had become of that young boy, who had disappeared just as quickly as he had appeared. Had he been all right? Had his life gotten better? One evening, as David shuffled to the diner, his chest began to ache. At first, it was a dull pressure, but it quickly intensified. His breath grew shallow, his vision blurred, and he felt a wave of dizziness wash over him. He tried to steady himself, but the pain was overwhelming. Everything went black. When David awoke, the world around him was bright, and the soft beeping of machines filled his ears. His chest still ached, and he could feel the cold metal of hospital wires attached to his body. Panic set in. "Where am I?" he thought, his mind racing. Nurses bustled around him, and he could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him. Then, the door opened, and a figure stepped into the room. A doctor entered, tall and confident, wearing a crisp white coat. But there was something oddly familiar about him. As the doctor walked toward David's bed, his eyes locked onto David's, and a flicker of recognition passed between them. "Sir," the doctor began, his voice calm yet gentle, "it's an honor to take care of you today." David blinked, his thoughts scattered. "Do I know you?" he asked, confused. The doctor smiled softly, a warmth in his gaze that made David's heart skip a beat. "You may not remember me, but I remember you," he said, pulling up a chair to sit beside the bed. The doctor's eyes glistened as he continued. "Years ago, on a freezing night, you bought dinner for a starving little boy. That boy was me." David's breath caught in his throat, and memories of that cold evening flooded back. The boy, his pale face, his tearful gratitude. The small act of kindness that had seemed so insignificant at the time, but now it had brought this man, this doctor, into his life. The doctor's voice broke through David's thoughts. Because of you that night, I was reminded that there are good people in this world. I worked hard, studied, and never forgot the man who gave me my first hot meal in days. David's heart swelled with emotion, his eyes filling with tears. As the years rolled by, David's health began to decline. His body, once strong and sturdy, now felt frail and weak. His legs didn't carry him as easily as they used to, and his hands trembled more with each passing day. But despite the physical decline, David's spirit remained unchanged. He still made his way to the diner each evening, savoring his soup, watching the world through the window, and remembering the young boy he had helped all those years ago. The memory of that night stayed with him, a quiet reminder of the kindness that had meant so much to that boy. But one evening, David knew something was different. As he walked back from the diner, the cold air biting at his face, he felt a sharp pain shoot through his chest. It was unlike anything he'd ever felt before. His breath came in shallow gasps, and his vision blurred. Panic set in, and his legs gave out beneath him. He collapsed on the cold pavement, unable to move, unable to call for help. The next thing David knew, he was lying in a hospital bed, his body hooked up to machines, the rhythmic beeping of the monitors filling the room. His chest still hurt, and everything felt surreal. He could see nurses moving about, but the pain and disorientation kept him from fully processing what was happening. Was this it? Was he finally at the end? Then the door to his room opened, and in walked a man in a crisp white coat. David's gaze drifted toward the figure, trying to focus through the haze of pain. As the doctor stepped closer, David squinted, trying to place the face. There was something strangely familiar about him, though he couldn't quite put his finger on it. When the doctor spoke, his voice was calm, but his words hit David like a wave. "It's an honor to take care of you today," the doctor said, his voice warm yet confident. David blinked, his mind racing. "Do I know you?" he asked, confusion clouding his thoughts. The doctor smiled, but it wasn't just a smile. It was filled with something deeper, something more personal. "You may not remember me," the doctor said softly, "but I remember you. Years ago, on a freezing night, you bought a starving little boy a meal. That boy was me." David's heart skipped a beat as his mind raced back to that cold winter evening. He remembered the boy, his tear-filled eyes, the way he had whispered his thanks. And now, that same boy was standing before him, not as a child, but as a doctor. Someone who had dedicated his life to helping others because of the kindness David had shown him all those years ago. It was more than David could process in the moment, but the emotions were overwhelming. The boy he had helped had now become the man who was helping him. Tears welled up in David's eyes as the doctor continued. "You showed me that there are good people in this world. And because of you, I became a doctor. Now it's my turn to take care of you." David sat in his hospital bed, his mind spinning as he tried to process what had just happened. The doctor standing before him, so calm, so confident. This was the same boy he had helped all those years ago. The memory of that cold evening, the boy standing outside the diner, hungry and shivering, came rushing back in vivid detail. David had never expected anything in return for his simple act of kindness. But now, here was this man, this doctor, standing before him, revealing a connection that seemed almost unbelievable. How could this be? David thought, struggling to wrap his mind around the turn of events. The boy he had helped had grown into a doctor, someone who now had the power to save lives, and it was because of him that David was alive today. The weight of the situation hit him all at once. He hadn't just helped a hungry child that night. He had unknowingly set off a chain of events that had led to this very moment. The doctor placed a reassuring hand on David's shoulder, his voice gentle but filled with sincerity. "I never forgot you, David. That night changed everything for me. It wasn't just the meal. It was the kindness you showed when you didn't have to. I promised myself that I would give back, and that's why I worked so hard to become a doctor. I wanted to make a difference, just like you did for me." David's heart swelled as he listened. He had always considered himself an ordinary man, someone who lived a simple life, never seeking recognition or praise. But here, in this moment, he realized that his small act of kindness had planted a seed in someone else's life, a seed that had grown into something extraordinary. The doctor had fulfilled his promise to himself, and now It was his turn to give back. Tears welled up in David's eyes as he looked at the man before him. He had no idea that a single meal, a simple gesture of kindness, would lead to such a profound change. I never expected any of this, David whispered, his voice choked with emotion. The doctor smiled, his eyes filled with warmth and gratitude. Kindness has a way of coming full circle, he said softly. You changed my life, David. Now it's my turn to take care of you. As David lay there in his hospital bed, overwhelmed by the revelation of the doctor's identity, the full weight of what had just unfolded began to settle in. He had always believed that acts of kindness, no matter how small, would fade away into the past, never to be thought of again. But here, in this room, was living proof that even the smallest gesture could create ripples in someone's life that lasted far beyond what he could ever imagine. The doctor's words echoed in his mind. You changed my life, David. Now it's my turn to take care of you. It was hard for David to comprehend. How could a simple act, buying a starving boy a hot meal, lead to something so profound, something so life-changing for both of them? In the years that had passed since that cold winter night, David had never once expected this moment, this reunion. He had never even considered the possibility that the boy he helped would one day become the very person saving his life. The doctor, now fully aware of the emotional weight of the moment, sat beside David's bed, his gaze steady. You didn't just feed me that night, David. You gave me hope when I had none left, and it stayed with me, guiding me throughout my life. Every day I remembered that small act of kindness and thought, if someone could do that for me, I can do something good for the world too. David, too choked with emotion to speak, simply nodded, his mind swirling. The doctor was right. He had no idea that his simple gesture had ignited a fire in that young boy, a fire that led him to pursue medicine, to become someone who could help others just as David had helped him. And now here he was, returning the favor, looking after David with the same compassion and kindness that had once been shown to him. For David, it was a humbling realization. He had never set out to change anyone's life. He had simply seen a boy in need and acted without expecting anything in return. But now, as the doctor sat by his side, David understood the true power of kindness. It didn't fade away. It didn't disappear. It multiplied. It came back when least expected, in ways that changed lives in ways he could never have imagined. In that moment, David realized that his one small act of generosity had come full circle, and it had come back in the most meaningful way. Thank you so much for watching this heartfelt story. We truly hope it inspired you as much as it did us. It's a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can have a profound impact, not just on others, but on ourselves as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever experienced a moment where a small act of kindness came back to you in an unexpected way? Or perhaps you've been the one who made a difference in someone else's life without even realizing it. Leave us a comment below and share your own story. We believe that kindness has a ripple effect, and your experiences could inspire others to do the same. Remember, every time we share our stories and connect with one another, we spread more positivity into the world. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming heartwarming stories. Your support means the world to us. We can't wait to hear from you in the comments and look forward to sharing another amazing story with you tomorrow.